Hi folks. So today I'm going to show you how to replace a burned out screen or a broken keypad on a Pentair IntelliFlo variable speed pool pump. This goes for any IntelliFlo pool pump. They come in a variety of different part numbers, a variety of different variations, VS, VF, VSF, VS plus SVRS. It doesn't matter, the screen unit is the same, and I'm going to show you how to replace that today. So basically what I'm going to show you is a very common problem where if your pool pump still runs, if it's on an automatic schedule and on a timer and it still turns on and turns off when it's supposed to and still pumps water, but if the display here is either dead or it's hard to read or it's dim or it went black, or if any of these buttons or all of these buttons don't work anymore, that means that the keypad unit here went bad, but that the rest of the electronics, the drive and the motor and everything, is still good. So basically what I'm going to show you is we can replace just this part right here, which is the keypad, circuit board and screen. We can replace this and get your pump back in business. Now Pentair is going to tell you, and your pool guy is going to tell you, that they don't sell just this keypad. And that's true. Pentair won't sell you just this unit. They want to sell you this entire unit here, which consists of the drive, the keypad, the cover. They want to sell you this entire assembly for about $1,000. But really the only thing that's wrong with it is that little circuit board in here. So I'm going to show you how to replace that right now. First things first, the tools you're going to need. I'd recommend, you can use a screwdriver, but I'd recommend you just get a drill or an impact driver like this, a small one, just because some of these screws, depending on how old your pump is, some of these screws can be kind of stuck in there. You might need to break them loose. You're going to need a Phillips head to take these 3 screws out right here. And then you're going to need, and this is somewhat special, but it's readily available, these 4 screws at the corners here of the drive cover are a T25 Torx Security, or otherwise known as a tamper-proof. So you're going to need a special bit. It looks like this here. So this is a T25 size, but it has that hole in the middle to fit over the pin and the screw. You can get these at Lowe's or Home Depot or Amazon or whatever. I'll leave some links in the description of this video so you guys can purchase them before you go ahead and tear apart your pump if you don't have this on hand, because otherwise it'll be very difficult to get those screws out. So anyway, let's get started. First thing is, obviously, please make sure that the power is turned off to your pump. Go over to your electrical panel, turn off the circuit breaker. Make sure there's no power going to your pump. We're going to be getting into the guts of this, and you want to be safe. So step 1, make sure the power's off. Step 2, we're going to remove these 3 long Phillips head screws. These screws basically sandwich this cover for the hinge cover here, and the keypad and the drive, they bolt that down to the motor. So these are like 3.5 inch long screws. We're going to pull those out right now. Alright, so once you take those loose, take out 1, 2, 3, and then this hinge cover just comes off. Put that to the side. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these 4 Torx tamper-proof screws at the corners. I'm going to change the bit here on my impact, and then let's zip these out. Okay, now once those are off, this cover will come up Sometimes you might have to pry a little bit. There's a rubber gasket in there. Again, if your pump is, you know, many years old and it's never been apart, it might be kind of stuck. But pry this cover up, but be careful because there's a cable attached on the back side. So just pry this up like this, and then if you pull it away a little bit, you'll see this cable here that's attached to the main motherboard with that white connector. And all you do is you just take that connector and you just push it like this, and it pops right off. See, it's just pressed onto those contacts right there. So you just pull that right off like that, and then this entire keypad comes off. Now, this unit here, this is the main variable speed drive. This is the brains and the heart of your pool pump. So if your pump is completely dead, it won't run at all, it's likely that your drive is bad. And you can buy a replacement drive. Like I said, if you want to buy the whole kit and caboodle from Pentair, it's going to be between $800 and $1,000. I actually sell these drives as well, so I'll leave a link in the description to my eBay store. I have these available, and I also have keypads available. If you want to just replace this whole keypad, if the rubber face is damaged or worn out, I sell these as well. Anyway, let's get on to replacing this screen right here, which, like I said, we're just going to replace this unit right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over like this. First things first is I would disconnect this cable right here. There's two, not really a Phillips, but kind of a four-way screw. You can use a flat blade to get these out. I would use a small flat blade screwdriver like this, and we can take out these screws holding the connector. Okay, once those screws are off, this connector should pop off. Put that aside. Now the way this unit comes out, and you might look at these numbers here, this 176L number, I've seen these with various numbers. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter. No matter what number you have here, no matter what software version you have, it will work. It doesn't matter. They're all interchangeable. All of the programming for all of your speeds and your timers and the functionality of your pump, it all lives in the drive. This keypad is merely a controller. There's even some older IntelliFlos with a different button layout, like this old one right here. You can see these buttons have different labels. You know, these actually have, you know, wording on them, whereas the new ones look like this with the different speeds on top. Even that doesn't matter. That circuit board that I'm showing you is interchangeable with both of these. The functionality of the button, that lives in the drive, not in the keypad. So anyway, the next step is, in order to get this out, all we're going to do is we're going to loosen these 4 Phillips head screws right here, and that will loosen these little hold down brackets. Now you can take them all the way out. I wouldn't. What I usually do is I usually just break them loose. Let's see, sometimes they're pretty tight. Break them loose, I would back it off a number of turns, but don't take it all the way out. Do the same thing over here. And once you can feel that they're loose, what that allows you to do is take this bar, and if you look, there's some notches here. You can slide this whole bar down like that, and it pops out. Now we're going to do the same down here. and slide this up. Sometimes you have to kind of walk it back and forth like this. Okay, that's out. Now all you do is press this through, and then this cover comes away, and then here is the unit that you're going to be replacing. Now, what I sell in my eBay store, which again I'll put a link to, is the guts of this unit, which is this circuit board and the screen right here, which comes with the back. You're going to have to keep your rubber faceplate. So all we're going to do is, if you look at this unit, there's spots along the edges, all of those little openings, those are pry spots. So you can pry this plastic case apart. You pop out the circuit board that's inside here, and you pop this one in there, and then when you put it back together, you'll be in business. Now all we're going to do to pry this case apart, like I said earlier, is we're going to use that same small flat braid screwdriver that I have, and we're going to work our way around this case so that we don't break it. Again, if your pump's really old, some of this plastic might be kind of old and brittle, but if you're careful, it's not too bad to pry this apart without breaking it. So what I usually do is I usually start at the top here. I stick my screwdriver in the back, wiggle it around, try to pry the back out just a hair. Then I work my way to the next one right here. Pry it a little bit, release the tab. Then I go to the next one right here. Pry that. Now on the opposite side, pry that. Now you can see the top is popped out. Now work your way down along the side. Right here, right here. Do the other side. Like that, like that. At this point, I usually try to kind of wiggle it. Okay. I usually get to this point right here. The only thing holding it in is these last two tabs right here. So I put my screwdriver in there and try to pop those. There we go. Now it came apart. So this is the part you're going to keep, this rubber membrane with the plastic screen. This is the part you're going to be replacing. So this one, assuming you're going to take it out, yours is dead. And like I said, if you purchase a new one from me, you're going to get this exact unit. Now all you do is really simple. Well, first make sure there's no dust on the screen. There we go. Is you're going to take your case, flip this upside down, and you just press it in. And then work your way around. Snap in all those tabs. There we go. Now, we're just going to put this back together just the way it came apart. So, we're going to drop this into our case. Be careful, there's this rubber membrane here that just keeps the water out. So make sure that that is seated nicely in the frame and not pinched. You know, it should be, if you look at it this way, it should be flush. There should be no gap anywhere here. So what I do is you put that in there, hold it, flip it upside down, and then we're going to put those aluminum brackets back. So what you do is you put it in the slot at the bottom of the slot, and then you kind of walk it up like this. Okay, that one's all the way up. Take the other one. And again, like I said, I don't take the screws all the way out, but you can see this screw is just threaded into this piece. So if this screw comes out, you can just put it back. Just be careful. They are really easy to cross thread, so that's why I don't take them out. Anyway, put the bottom bracket in. Walk it down. There we go. Now I'm going to tighten those back up. I'm just going to use the impact, but very, very gently. You don't want to over tighten these. As soon as it starts to get a little bit tight, I stop. You just want to make sure it's snug, that's all. If you tighten the heck out of these, you're going to break the plastic. Okay. There you go. So now your keypad has been replaced. Next step is you're going to put this connector back like that. You're going to tighten down those screws. Now when you go to put this back on your drive, you have to reconnect that white connector. So again, you just take this piece, and there's a little groove, so you can't put it the wrong way. You just press that in here, and press it on. That's it. Now, take your keypad, make sure it's seated down on that rubber. If that rubber that goes around the perimeter here, if that came loose, make sure you put that back. That's what keeps the water and the weather out of your drive. Make sure it's seated. What I would do next is I would plop your hinge cover on, like that, and then you can drop in those 3 long screws. 1, 2, 3. Now when you tighten these, be careful you don't cross thread them. So what I usually do is just a little trick that I do is I spin them backwards a little bit just to make sure I find the hole, and then I'll tighten them down. Okay, that's tightened back. Now the last step is just to put those 4 Torx screws back at the corners. So drop those in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then same thing with these. Make sure you don't cross thread them. And they don't have to be super tight. Just snug. There's a little rubber washer under there, again for weatherproofing, so water doesn't get in your drive. So make sure they're tight enough to seat that washer. And if that washer falls off, that washer right here, make sure you put it back. That's what keeps the water out. Okay, now our pool pump is fully reassembled. Last step is to test it out. So I'm going to turn the power back on, and let's see how we did. Okay, there we go. Screen is bright and clear. Everything works. Our buttons work. Good as new. So there you go. Again, if your screen is dead or your buttons don't work, this is what you need to do to fix it. You don't need a whole new drive. You don't need a whole new assembly from Pentair. You just need this circuit board here. Now, I've been working on pool pumps a long time. It took me a very long time to find a source for these, but I have a large quantity of these in stock. So again, I'll leave a link in the description to my eBay listing where you guys can purchase this to get your pump back to as good as new. Thanks for watching.